Salut YouTube! Ça me fait trop plaisir de faire cette video. It makes me so happy to do this video. This is an update to let you know that we're going back to France. We're going back to France. Watch out, France. I am coming for you. I am coming for your baguettes, for your pain au chocolat, for your pâtisserie. I will eat this country. I'm so excited to see friends and family and to enjoy France again, and also to like just go back to Paris as a tourist and get to see the best parts of Paris while knowing all of the local secrets, but actually have time to enjoy it. This is a side note, but I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. Like when you live in Paris, you're not going to the Louvre and Musée d'Orsay and stuff because you're working non-stop, like métro, boulot, dodo. And on the weekends, you need to run errands and you just want to sleep and just recuperate from the week. And so you don't really want to stand in line for hours on a busy weekend and go to these places. Whereas, you know, as a tourist, I'm going to be there on like Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to go check out all my favorite spots. It's going to be amazing. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our trip. Okay, so we're not going back to France for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like we are going back for just under 3 months, which is amazing. So we have a nice, big, beautiful stretch of time to go back to France. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. So it's just over 10 weeks, and I know 10 weeks sounds enormous, and we're so lucky, and like it's so cool that, you know, Niels is going to be able to, he's going to work 2.5 days per week over there, and his company here in New Zealand is super understanding because in New Zealand we only get 4 weeks of paid leave per year. So to be able to go somewhere for 10 weeks is massive, and they've been amazing, so that's going to be awesome. But while 10 weeks is a lot, it's also not, right? Like it's just 10 weekends. And so when you break it down like that, it's like so much to plan, so much to do. What am I going to prioritize? So let me tell you a little bit about that. And I also need your help and your inputs to helping me figure out exactly what I should do and what I should cut out of my itinerary because it's already overflowing. So let's talk about how we're getting there first, because I think this is interesting to people. They often ask me, you know, how much does it cost and all of that kind of thing. So for 2 of us to fly back to France from New Zealand, it's 6,500 New Zealand dollars, I believe, or I don't know, I don't have the exchange rate perfectly in mind, but that might be like 4,500 euros. So it was more expensive than usual, which makes sense given the context with the war in Ukraine and the rising prices of oil, petrol, etc. So we knew it was going to be more expensive, but you know, the reason that we haven't been able to go prior to this as well has been, it's been impossible to get back into New Zealand. So we could have gone to France, but we wouldn't have been able to get back in because we wouldn't have had a spot in managed isolation. But even if we got one, that would have been thousands of dollars anyway. So we had started saving up anyway, whether we had to come back via that 2-week managed isolation and spend, you know, thousands of dollars on that, or tickets were whatever they were. We actually don't care. Like, we have to go back. It's as simple as that. So we will be flying with British Airways primarily. So it's with Qantas, an Australian airline, and then we switched to British Airways. And it is quite the journey. So we couldn't have the fastest, most perfect journey in the world because those tickets were like $10,000 for the 2 of us, but we got a pretty good deal. The problem is that we are flying out of Wellington, which is the capital city, but it's not the biggest city in New Zealand. So most international flights go out via Auckland, so we have less choice. And we're flying to Marseille in the south of France. So if we were flying from Auckland to Paris, we could have gone very classic routes, you know, Auckland, Dubai, Paris. Auckland, Singapore, Paris. Very clean, very quick. Well, quick is all relative. Okay, so quick for New Zealand to France means 28 hours, okay, 28 hours. So you essentially have about a 12 to 14 hour flight on the way, you stop, and then you do it again. And actually when you get used to it, that's nice and quick, okay, for us anyway. Our total flight time, because we're not going, you know, big city to big city, and we've got, you know, different like local flights and things like that, our journey is actually going to be more closer to 33 hours on the way there and then 35 on the way back, I think, or maybe it's vice versa. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying from Wellington to Sydney. That's the first leg. And it really sucks because you have to spend at that point 5 hours in Sydney airport. Like, I love you, Sydney, but what the hell am I going to be doing in your airport? So we fly to Sydney, sort of waiting around for 5 hours there. And then it's pretty much like boom, 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 hop on the British Airways flight and we will be going Sydney to London. Now, there's no formal stopover, but from what I've read, you do actually stop in Singapore to refuel. I believe you stay on the plane. It's really just like a refuel. You might get off the plane, but like for 30 minutes or something like that, but it really isn't going to be a proper stop. So that's going to be intense. Like it goes quite quickly from that point. So Sydney to London with British Airways and then London to Marseille for our final leg. There's probably quite a lot to think about now with international travel, with COVID, with masks, with vaccines, all of that kind of stuff. We'll figure that out later. All I know is that we're super excited to go, and yeah, the flight is going to be around 33 kind of hours. To be honest, I know that sounds horrific, but, and maybe this is just a mindset thing to make it feel easier on us, but we kind of view it as like, it's kind of like a really long day. You know, you're just a day of like chilling, being fed, watching TV, talking, chatting, trying to sleep a little bit. Is it ideal? No. And I get quite anxious on flights, especially with turbulence. I start to freak out. But is it worth it to get to France? Like, of course. Of course. Okay, so there's moments where you're a little bit uncomfortable, you're a little bit bored, you're a little whatever, and then you're there. It's so worth it. Like, you're on the other side of the world, you're in France, like, so for us, all good. So we're going over, we are going to be based in Marseille in the south. We're actually going to be based more so in Avignon for probably, you know, I'd say 70% of the trip. So it's going to be very much, you know, around Avignon. We'll be staying with Niels' dad there. His mum is in Marseille, and then we've got family in Lyon and sort of around as well. So we're going to be very much south of France based. But because all of my like ex-colleagues and friends and, you know, most of the people I know are based in Paris, I will be doing 2 one-week trips. So the end of July, so we arrive early July. So end of July and early September, I will have 2 separate weeks in Paris. I'm also going on a road trip with Kate from Unintentionally Frenchified, if you watch her channel as well. We're going to be doing the sort of Côte d'Azur, which we've never done before. Like neither of us have seen Nice, have seen Cannes, have seen Monaco, so we are going to be doing that coast on a roadie, and I've also got 2 weekends booked in with friends. I'm going away with my friend Danielle. I think we're going to be in the regions of Paris somewhere and just have a nice chill weekend. And then I've got my other friends, we're going to Itinerary, which I'm really excited for because I haven't been there before, and that's very much on my list as well. So already things are starting to feel a little bit like, whoa, I've got to, you know, catch up with family. You know, there's like people's birthdays and their friends and that kind of stuff. Like Niels has a lot of friends based in Marseille, and we're going to be meeting like 6 new humans because a lot of people in our friend groups are having children right now. So there's a lot to do, a lot to catch up on. And there was part of me that's like, this is a New Zealander in me, like I'm going all the way to France, I need to make the most of it. And I really wanted to go to the Amalfi Coast, I really wanted to go to Valencia, I really wanted to go to Crete in Greece and see some other things. But honestly, the way the itinerary is shaping up, I'm sort of thinking to myself, you know, it's been 3 years, be in France and, you know, see the people and enjoy the country and just enjoy France. Because ideally, you know, with the pandemic going the way it's going and everything, we'll be able to be back anyway in a year, and we'll be able to have another nice big trip, and then maybe we can do some sort of international excursion. So we're just going to make the most of France, but I wanted to have your ideas and your input because I would love to know, just for a couple of like day trips or weekend trips, what should I prioritize? So one place I do know is that I definitely want to go to Carcassonne. This looks like a really, really cool gated kind of city, lots of history. I love towns with like original walls and everything. It just feels so medieval. I don't know, I just adore that. So I'll definitely be going there. As I said, I'm going to Itinerary as well. I'm doing that coast between, you know, Marseille and Italy as well. What other must-sees should I try to check out in France, especially if you have hidden gems for me in Provence, because I will be based in Provence, so it'll be very easy for me to do day trips down there as well. It's super weird because we haven't been back in so long. It feels like there are some things that I am a little bit nervous about, and not nervous in a bad way, but just a little bit like, oh wow. And that is going to be definitely working remotely with my team. So because of the hours, like there's not going to be working hours that work for us. So for example, to have a one-to-one with my team, to have a team meeting, I'm going to have to be up at 10 p.m. at night to meet with them at 8 a.m. and usually they don't start at 8 a.m, it's more like 9 a.m, right? So that's 11 p.m. for me. So this is going to be very interesting seeing how that works. So I'm getting everything in place before then. And also life just feels so freaking hectic at the moment. There's only about 7 weeks until we leave, and I've got so many things booked in. I'm onboarding a new team member. I've got laser eye surgery coming up, and I can't get the proper LASIK one. I have to get the one where you've got like 5 days recovery. Like there's all these things that are swarming around and have to happen before we go. But I think once I'm on that flight, I'll just be able to sort of release everything and just enjoy being there. Also, I think this is the bane of every bicultural relationship's existence, but a question that we ask ourselves as well is like what if we love it too much? Like it's been so long, what if we go there and we're like, oh my gosh, that's right. We're like, remember, and we love it so much that this life that we've been building in New Zealand comes into question, but that's our lives, right? That's always going to be like that. And I'm so excited to escape the New Zealand winter. Oh my gosh, it's so miserable in winter. It's like rainy and gloomy and cold. And we will be going to France, the south of France. It's gonna be hot. It's my favorite. I know some people don't like it when the temperatures get into like the mid to late 30s, but I adore that. I'm very much a beach baby and I love being in the heat, so I'm very, very, very excited for that. Although we'll see. I mean, I'm probably going to be making some videos talking about how much I'm suffering. What else am I nervous about? Probably a bit nervous about pole. I have been getting really into pole and I've been making some real progress, some progress that takes a lot of strength, a lot of conditioning. It's like I've been doing it for over a year and I'm finally unlocking this level, this solid, nice intermediate level that's allowing me to really do cool tricks and things. I'm scared about losing my progress, and I definitely will be checking out pole studios while I'm over there and going out to a few of those, but otherwise just knowing myself, I need to stay disciplined and I'm gonna need to stay fit and healthy and strong and be doing my sit-ups and my push-ups and my conditioning and I don't know, watching YouTube videos and making sure all of that happens as well. I'm a little bit nervous about losing that side of me, but we'll make it work. Otherwise, I already have so many content ideas flowing, but at the same time, I want to be quite particular with what I'm going to make because I don't want to just be walking around with a camera the whole time. I love vlogging, I love making videos, but I want to be there, I want to be present. So I've got a few ideas. I would love to hear if you have any video requests or ideas for me. I will be considering them and probably planning them out before I even go. A couple that have come to mind, I'm definitely going to be doing a vlog and tour of Avignon City because I'll be based there. I was also thinking about asking Nils's dad if I can do a house tour of like a typical south of France family home to really show, you know, how it's made and the typical materials and the layout and all of the funny little features we don't necessarily find everywhere as well. So I was thinking about that. I was also thinking about what I eat in a week, or like what I ate in like a food diaries essentially. You know, a typical week with a French family. What are they eating 7 days that week? You know, what are the 3 meals per day, 7 days a week? Like what are they eating? I think that could be quite interesting. And of course, I think I'm going to be reminded of those little culture shocks. I will be confronted again and I'll be like, that's right, or like, oh my gosh, I had never picked up on that, but that's such a thing. And I think having had 3 years now in New Zealand, it's going to be even stronger, going back stronger than ever before. So I'm definitely going to be making a culture shocks video for sure. But again, please let me know if you have any ideas. I would love to read about them because I need some inspiration and to hear what do you want to see when I'm going back to France as well. And is there anyone that you want me to collab with? Hey, who knows? Anyway, friends, I just wanted to update you on that. Early July, we are off to France. How exciting! So I will see you there and I can't wait to create content for you. And until then, keep checking out my videos in the lead up and the build up. I'm going to France and then straight after that I'm applying for my French nationality. And oh my gosh, there's so many cool things coming. So definitely hang around for the ride and we will speak very, very soon. À bientôt!